Coach Gates, let's start with an opening statement before moving on to questions.
One of basketball's great traditions, great environment. I thought our guys played an unbelievable first half outside of the middle 10 minutes of the entire game, meaning the last 5, and then the first 5 in the second half. Overall, I thought we did some things and we executed the right way. I'll have to watch more of the film. They did a great job getting to the free throw line. We shot 0 free throws in the first half. I thought the game was physical enough where at least we could come away with 1 or 2. That would have broke the momentum in that last 5 minutes, but it didn't. Excellent game plan. We just wasn't able to put the entire 40 minutes together.
Questions?
Dennis, what would you say went wrong in that middle 10 minutes there, especially that 12-0 run time to the first half?
It's simple. They scored. We didn't. The other part of it is the majority of their points were in the paint. We fouled some three-point shooters, which are things you can't do, especially on the road against anyone. I thought they were able to get some great looks, but ultimately being able to cut those points in the paint in half. Who would have thought Hunter Dixon would have 2 points at halftime? Nobody. I thought our guys did a tremendous job. We had an excellent game plan, but you take that away and you still give up sort of some points in the paint, and I don't think we were able to score in those moments. We knew they would go on a run, but we just wasn't able to score. No different than in the second half. I thought it was a drought by both teams, and we did an excellent job, unlike the last 5 minutes, of holding them down to no field goals, but more so free throws.
Dennis, what was that plan that was effective against Dickinson? And then second part, what do you think of Connor's second half kind of helping you guys get back in?
Well, I think his teammates challenged him in the right way. Sean and Nick challenged Connor in the second half, and he was able to get going. The other part of it is, in terms of the game plan, obviously he's one of Dickerson is one of college basketball's best centers, along with Zach Edey. There's no doubt about it. 20 and 10 is what he's averaging. He had an excellent second half, finished with 11 points in that second half. Some of those came off at least one of them came from the free throw line, but he was just, at that point, being able to use his physicality. I thought there was some over-the-back calls that we should have came away with the rebound, but we wasn't physical enough. I think Aiden Shaw and Jordan Butler were the 2 guys down there, and we just wasn't able to get Hunter out of that spot. So they did an excellent job doing what they do. This is a unique team. They were at about 60 points in the paint every game that they've won, including free throws, meaning that those 2 things. So we count free throws as points in the paint. Tonight they had 60, 20 made free throws and 42 points in the paint. That's 60 points. So you ain't going to be able to beat teams like that, especially on the road, and we got to take care of the basketball.
Dennis, what do you hope your team takes away from this game, this day?
Just lessons. I'll have to watch the film to get more specific. But I thought our young guys grew up a little bit just by being in an environment. Jordan Butler, Ant Robinson, Trent Pierce. I loved what I saw from Trent Pierce. I thought he had some open looks. He was able to ignite a run with some defensive effort. The other part of it is being able to have multiple guys make plays. Sean East and Nick Honor, those guys that did an excellent job. Now, they got to take better care of the basketball, which I know they will. They finished with 8 turnovers and 8 assists. And ultimately, for our team to win, we can't be in a negative in assist-to-turnover ratio, and we were 11 assists to 12 turnovers.
Dennis.
Question, please use our mic holders, by the way.
Dennis, what went into the decision to, particularly the first half, to sag off KJ and kind of guard away from, or when the ball was away from him to help off him? Then also, how did you think they handled that kind of during their run when they used him a little bit to go on that run?
Well, that's an excellent question. You just force a team to do something different that they hadn't done as much. Now, ultimately, Big Dickerson, he had a great job of getting over the top, meaning post fronts and different looks where guys would lob it over. I don't think he got one tonight. He scored off second chance points. That's another thing that we have to correct. The other was he uses his body so well to duck in, and our guys were able to wedge underneath and provide some help on the weak side. Our perimeter defense was excellent. We just got to be able to secure some of those second chance long rebounds, which allowed them in the first half to get at least 10 second chance points. So 10 out of there, 41 points was second chance, and we didn't do an excellent job at that. So I'll have to watch the film to really see and dial in, but that was just part of our game plan to try to figure out and make sure that they could do something different.
Hey, Coach, in a game that was filled with big plays by both teams, I think you guys led for most of the first half. And
14 minutes.
El Marco hits
Excellent 14 minutes.
El Marco hits the three and was fouled. I'm just wondering the turning point in that. I mean, how big of a sequence was that?
Well, I want to see the next time a team leads in this arena for 14 minutes to start the game. I don't know when that will take place, but I thought Kansas did a good job of not panicking, and those guys made great shots. We just can't foul 2 3-point shooters in that first half. We gave up, 7 points off 3-point jump shots, and they're not a three. This team this year is a 3-point shooting team for Kansas. So they were still able to make 3 threes, but now you look at the extra points that we gave them off the fouls. Those are things that you can't make those mistakes. So I'm proud of those 14 minutes, though. Very proud of them. I thought they were excellent 14 minutes. We were able to silence the crowd a little bit. These guys played unbelievable to my right and left. And we'll have to just figure out what's next in terms of how we can keep getting better.
Coach, what do you think Aiden Shaw was able to give you in the game plan tonight?
Not enough rebounds. He didn't give me enough rebounds. He had 2 offensive rebounds and 1 defensive. That's not acceptable. In 22 minutes, 3 rebounds. That's 1 rebound every 7 minutes. He needs to be 1 rebound every 3. So it's not excellent. I'm not happy with that performance. I am happy about his shot blocking. I thought he ran down and changed some shots. He had a steal, but when it comes down to the rebounding per minute, it wasn't where it needed to be.
Nick and Sean, in that 14-minute span where you guys were in the lead, what were you doing so well offensively? What was working for you guys?
We was just, creating for one another. We just want to, use the drag ball screens effectively, and I feel like we're 2 guys who can create for ourselves and others. So I feel like we're doing that well, and then kind of our defense turns into our offense as well. So just playing how we play. It was a good 14 minutes, but we gotta learn how to play for that full 40.
What was the question?
In that 14 minutes you guys in the lead, what were you doing so well offensively? What was working for you guys?
We were just attacking mismatches. Going into the game, we knew that Timberlake and Murphy, they wasn't as good defenders as other people on the floor, so we was trying to get the ISO or a matchup and just exploit it, and that's what we did a little bit. And also our defense was leading to our offense.
Yeah, also for Nick and Sean, just in that final 6 minutes of the first half there, where every missed shot's getting celebrated like it's a championship winner every turnover. Just what was particularly hard about countering that, and just how were you unable to get out of that slump, I guess?
What'd you say?
Just how difficult is it to get out of a slump like that when the environment is as rowdy as it is?
I feel like just the way we practice. I think I said in the interview earlier, Coach Gates really makes practice kind of, game-like for us, whether that's bad calls or anything like that. But he always tells us not to blink. And, when it gets loud like that, you just got to, focus on your team and what you have going on. There's a lot of, distractions going on, but as long as you're focused with your team and everything, we can get through anything.
The things that stand out to me is this, and you have to understand the analytics of basketball. I don't know a team that's going to force Kansas into 16 turnovers in a game here and on their home court, but we wasn't able to convert. We only had 9 points. That's in the negative. How can we have 9 points off 16 for forced turnovers? Those are opportunities to get to the foul line. We only shot 13, converted 9. We have to be able to score in those moments and make them pay for those mistakes that they make. In addition to that, being able – we got a crunch for time? Oh, all right. In addition to that, we have to be able to convert better and come away with at least 20 points on 16 turnovers or 16 points on 16 turnovers, and we wasn't able to do it. And those things stand out when you look at where you can steal possession. So we put too much pressure on the half court execution.
Dennis, multiple times, not just this year, but last year, you've talked about this program being in that infancy stage.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you've grown past that, and why?
Yeah, we're in the infant stages. And I look at, let's just say Kansas. Bill Self's been here for, 20 years? Correct? He's been building for 20. And that's an impact in recruiting. That's an impact when it comes to the success that they've had, but also their culture. And they've done a great job. Nothing against them. We're in the infant stages. We're constantly continuing to get better. We want to continue to connect with our tradition, the success of all our past coaches. I'm only in my fifth year, as a head coach. So it lets you know where I'm at. I still have growth in my own path that I will take, and make sure that I'll take that with my postseason education and season education and things like that I make sure I'm a part of. Hopefully, in the future I'll be here for 20 years and we can see the same success that Coach Self has had here, and we can have it at Mizzou, and I truly believe we can.
Last question.
Dennis,
What happened to Noah, and how is he after the game?
Noah caught a cramp, typical cramp in his leg. He did a great job rebounding. He ended up with 7 rebounds in 25 minutes. When I look at the rebound per minute, that is a good stat to have. I just thought ultimately he wasn't able to knock down some wide open looks that he normally knocks down, especially in a crucial part of a run. It's a learning experience. This is his first time here as well. We got to continue to get better and continue to make sure we learn lessons from this game. I'm proud of where our team is. I'm proud of the guys that are stepping up, obviously, and we'll continue to get better. I'm proud of these 2 guys and continuing to lead how they've led.
Thanks, Coach. Thanks, guys.
MIZ.
Every time someone makes an incredibly long feature about how the team produced, how the performance was great, you see the one who's be like, how it's even like, I actually thought it was a little bit. I think it was like a especially because it was
You guys trailed for 14 minutes in the first half, and then Marco hit the big 3 and was fouled. Turning point wise, how big of a shot was that?
The corner 3 ball, the and one, that was huge for us. I drove in there. He was locked and loaded, stood in there and knocked it down. That was a huge momentum shift for us. Hats off to them. They came out playing a great game. It was a game of runs, so they made their run early, and then we kind of went on ours.
And KJ, you had another big game offensively, and then the block. What did you see, and what were you just determined to make sure he didn't score?
Yeah, they were playing pretty soft on me, so we kind of had to adjust, and I had to hit those floaters late game. yeah, they come to our place. We have to make sure they don't have easy buckets like that breakaway. So it was good that I got that block.
Hunter, I think you had a quiet first half, but you still finished with a double-double. Can you talk about what they were doing defensively early on and how you adjusted?
Well, I mean, KJ kind of touched on it. You know, they were kind of daring K to shoot, and I mean, he made him pay in the first half. I think he had maybe like 12 or 14. I don't know how many points he had, but he was doing really good out there. And so, I mean, if the team's not going to guard one of our best players, then, you know, that's up to them. But, I mean, KJ made him pay. And so I think that's, you know, really what helped us late in that first half when we went on like a 14-0 run. I think KJ really did a lot for that, just, you know, being more aggressive. I think that was really good for us.
KJ, what did you think of them sacking off you and kind of daring you to shoot there?
Yeah, it's to expected. A lot of people are going to do that and start doing that. So I just have to make shots. I have to make them guard me. So that's just going to be. I guess I just have to start hitting those shots till they guard me.
Then could you take us through the full play of that block from the moment that the turnover happens? You're kind of trailing that guy, and just kind of take us through that play there.
Yeah, I saw him get the ball, and I kind of was running. I didn't know if I was going to get it, but I was for sure going to try. So I'm glad I got it.
KJ, you talked about the floater. Just how much have you worked on that as part of your game?
Yeah, I last year I had a decent floater, but I feel like this time we've been working on it a lot in practice. All the bigs, Hunter and Parker, we've just been working on that floater game, so it's been good that it's been working so far.
And then Hunter, you've had your fair experience in rivalries. Just where does this one rank up in some of the games you've played?
Yeah, you know, it was definitely, you know, a little different coming in, having this be my first time. You know, I just tried to treat it like, you know, the Michigan State rivalry with Michigan when I was there. I tried to just get my mind in that mindset because, you know, the people here really don't like the people in Missouri. So it was fun. I thought, you know, it made for a great atmosphere and a really competitive basketball game. And so it was just, you know, these are, you know, the type of games that you love to play in.
KJ, it wasn't just the points during that late first half stretch. You were doing some stuff, ball screens, screening away from the ball, kind of using that defensive strategy against them. What were you? Maybe how much more comfortable are you getting in those scenarios when you see that they're going to guard you like that, and just kind of what you think was important during that stretch?
Yeah, just not being a decoy, just not standing there, not doing anything, getting Kevin and Hunter involved and DeJuan, trying to set some screens to make them guard and help up so they can throw a bounce pass to me. So just using Kevin and Hunter and Juan to my advantage and getting easy buckets when they have to come up and guard them.
You guys were 20 out of 23 from the free throw line today. Just how important were those, and especially those 1-and-1s late? You guys were 6 of 6 on those 1-and-1s.
Yeah, that was huge. You know, we take pride in that, great pride, and you know, after practice, getting extra work, knocking down free throws for moments like this. You got to knock them down and make them pay when they send you to the line late game. And you know, all of us stepped up there today and did a really good job at that.
KJ, some pretty big moments bringing the ball up tonight too. How comfortable are you with that? How much do you like doing that? And what's your mindset when you're asked to bring the ball up?
Yeah, of course. When I bring the ball up like that, I can handle the ball, and I just haven't had to do it much because you have people like Juan and Kevin to bring up the ball, but they're daring me to bring up the ball, and I just feel like I was just a little bit quicker or faster than a lot of the guys that are guarding me, so it led to some easy transition buckets.
Kevin, what's the thought
Process on that when he is bringing it up, like he just talked about, it's a little bit of a quickness advantage usually. What about for the rest of you guys when you see that he's initiating and bringing it up?
Yeah, he plays guard too. He plays every position on the floor. He's not just a low post guy, a guy on the wing. He can bring the ball up too, and we're comfortable with that. We run offense through KJ when we can get it initiated. So we're used to that. We knew that they were trying to take away me, Juan, and Marco bringing it up and trying to pressure. So we gave it to KJ, and it worked out for us.
Also, we've talked to somebody about this 3 years in a row now, but I want to ask you, anytime DeJuan plays Mizzou, it's his hometown team. Anything different about him before this game, when this game's going? I mean, does it mean a little more to him to get this one or for you guys to get it for him?
You know, of course, you know, coming from that's your hometown. You know, you're at Kansas now playing the Missouri rivalry. Of course, I know he's super amped up, but he treats every game, you know, like a professional. He knows what we're going out there to do. It's a team game, and that's what he went out there and did. And we know he knows we got his back, and you know, we tried to play extra hard for him to make sure we come on the W for him.
Before
the game, we talked to Thomas Robinson. He said that this game's personal. Did you guys feel like you kind of accept that mindset?
When Mizzou comes here, I think everybody's amped up. We owe it to the fans to play our hardest and show them that this is more than just a game. This is a lot of stuff. This is history before us, and I think when you get in games like this, you just play your heart out for everybody who comes to watch us play and then on TV.
Hey, KJ, I think Coach said the other night you hadn't slept much. I'm just wondering if you're still running on adrenaline, and I mean, how long can you think you can keep that up before you not necessarily run out, but I mean, you're playing at a high level right now.
Yeah, I've been doing good. Been getting some good sleep. Been just hanging out with these guys. Really just hanging out with them. Been getting some good sleep, so I've been all right.
And how important have they been to you on this journey, these guys?
Yeah, of course they've been really my everything. Everybody on the team have been my rock. The coaching staff have shown me a lot of love, and everybody's just pretty understanding but still showing me some hard love just because I need it.
All right, thanks, fellas.
Thanks, fellas. All right, let's watch out.
All right.
Let's go.
She's not. She's maybe just that.
That's a great article on KJ. All right, guys, have at it.
Go in the first half. I think they led for the first 14 minutes, and then Marco hits the corner three and he's fouled. I'm just from a turning point standpoint. How big of a shot was that as far as the?
Yeah, I don't know the exact sequence, but yeah, they were obviously better than us to start the game, and then we were a lot better the last 6 minutes, was it, and go on a 20 to 2 run, which was that was the difference in game. It's an even game other than that. But yeah, that was a big shot by El Marco, but we made a lot of good basketball plays in the last 6 minutes of the first half. We started guarding them, and although our defense wasn't bad the whole game. I mean, numbers wise, it was pretty good, but certainly we got to improve and play better. But they do such a good job of disrupting you and not letting you run plays and get set up and things like that. And so you got to rely on how you play and players to make plays rather than run plays. And we didn't execute as well as what I would have liked for the majority of the game.
You did a lot of taking the ball up the floor against their defense with the pressure. Just how useful is it to have someone like that who isn't a primary ball handler but can function that way when needed?
Yeah, I thought KJ, other than rebounding, just hadn't rebounded the ball lately. But I thought he's been our best player the last 3 games or whatnot, and certainly I could say the same thing today. He made the one real bad pass in transition when he overthrew Juan when we had control and all that stuff. But I think his ball handling in transition has been about as good as anybody's. I mean, he's done a good job, and for a 4-man to get 5 assists, even though he had 5 turnovers, that's pretty good.
Bill, that particularly in that first half, they really sagged off him whether he had the ball or he didn't have the ball.
Yeah, they sagged off of he and El Marco.
Yeah,
I mean, they had 2 people in the lane the whole time.
That stretch at the end of the first half, whatever the last 6 minutes, he had a couple of those floaters, but then he also had some screen assists. How smart did you feel like he played during that stretch, and your team kind of take advantage of that? I
thought you couldn't even ball screen with him and have it be a pocket pass because his man played under. But to that point, a couple of times we ran offense, and by the time he was the screener, it was different than their initial setup. And Juan made a floater there. That was all because of KJ. And then KJ made, what did he make, about 3 12-footers in a row, something like that. I don't know exactly. So we got to learn how to attack that better. But I actually thought he did some good things. He's getting better every game.
Coach, Dennis came in here and he talked about your experience kind of here at Kansas, and he said that he still has a little bit of growing to do. But obviously this year's result is very different than when y'all went to Columbia last year. And so I'm just curious, was there anything you saw about Coach Gates that he's grown over the past year?
Coaches can't comment really on other coaches unless they're there and they can watch. But from the outside looking in, oh, yeah, he's doing a fantastic job. Last year when we played them at their place, they tried to take us out by pressing. This year, they pressured and didn't press, which was a big difference because last year when you have shooters, you make the extra pass and you're throwing it to Grady or Jay Will or whoever, and we end up shooting the ball. I don't know. We shot it unbelievably well last year over there. This year, our team is different. So the pressure was probably more effective than pressing because it didn't allow us to get 2-on-1s and 3-on-2s and things like that. So I think that was a very good adjustment. He's a terrific coach. The play he ran out of the timeout to get the back door for Sean, that was a great play. I mean, they've done a great job in a short amount of time, and they're fast, and we can't simulate that in practice, and it certainly bothered us. Their hands bothered us.
Missouri was targeting Nick and Johnny a lot when they came in off the bench on defense. Just what do those guys need to do to improve on defense and not, I guess, be a weak spot in that regard?
Well, that's a good observation because they just ran a ball screen to force a switch and the play take them, which we got to get better at. We tried to keep Juan connected, after that. And Juan actually did a good job on Sean. It was other guys that probably didn't do as good a job on him, but yeah, we got to get better in that area. I thought the second half. I thought Johnny did better, even though he got 3 quick fouls. I thought he did better in that area than what he did early. But we don't trust our feet. We're nervous about getting beat, so we back off and give space, and then they can just play off their jab and get their own shot whenever they want to. So we got to get better at that. It's not any different than what people did to Grady last year or Jay Will the year before. We'll get better at it, but that's something that people will do until we do get better.
Coach, I know every win's got to probably feel good, but is there anything special about getting a win over Missouri?
Beating Missouri always feels the food and it tastes better and the drink is colder later on in the evening after you beat Missouri. But that wasn't one of our best deals. I thought Missouri did a great job of making the game the way it needed to be to give them the best chance to win. I thought they did a great job. I thought our guys actually handled some things very well, but the game had no flow. It had no rhythm, which we're kind of if we're playing well, we kind of play with some rhythm offensively. So I'm leaving out of here really happy that we won, but I'm also leaving out here thinking we got to play better, and I'm sure Dennis is thinking the same thing. He's probably thinking, we came over there, we were the better team early, and then we kind of had a rough stretch, and then we hung in there and didn't let the crowd run us out or anything like that. I mean, crowd was great, but they weren't a factor in the game because I don't think our play was good enough to allow them to be a factor in the game like they were against Connecticut.
You guys were 20 out of 23 from the free throw line tonight and 6 for 6 on those 1-1s at the end. Just how important were those to see go through? And
well, they were important because we got 17 fouls, so the next 3 are going to be, or we got 16 fouls, so the next 3 are going to be 1-and-1s, and we go 6 for 6 when they were in the double bonus quite a bit earlier. So. Yeah, we shot our free throws well. We with the exception of just a couple of times, a couple of games, and maybe a player or two getting off to a rough start, we shot our free throws better, knock on wood. So, and we certainly made big ones, and tonight we made some big ones.
Anything else? Gary.
In the big picture, you guys are 3-0 in the renewed series against Missouri. How do you feel about that, and what does that mean to you?
I think to the question earlier, I don't even care about 3-0. I don't care about what happened last year or the year before. I care about what's going to happen from this point forward with our team, and I'm not going to think about Missouri again unless we have an opportunity to play them in the postseason until next year. But I am happy that we've won. Don't get me wrong. I'm happy that we've won. But that's not something that I'm going to, hang my hat on, leaving out of here thinking we're 3-0. You know what? We're 9-1. We play at Indiana. We got to get better for Indiana. That's how I see it.
Bill, not the first team that's given Hunter all sorts of attention, but obviously not the last that's going to give him that sort of attention. What's just the benefit of playing in a game like this, and particularly since it was KJ that they were kind of daring to step up?
KJ and Elmarco. We ran some plays early, and Elmarco's wide open, and his man's in the lane, and it was the same thing with KJ. And as long as teams play that way, Hunter's going to be neutralized in a lot of. I mean, there's nothing that we can do that will help him out unless you can spread it. Last year, we scored a ton of points at the rim against Missouri, but you had Grady and Jay Will and Kevin all stretching the defense out there, so they had to guard out there. This year, they didn't have to do that near as much, and so we got to have some guys step up. I've said that all along. Players 5 through 9 have to be more consistent and better, and there were times that we were today in order to allow our best players to have productive games. It's not so much looking at maybe just how they guard Hunter or how Hunter doesn't do something or the appearance that he doesn't do something. Maybe it's because other guys can't spread the floor to allow even more help that gives the appearance that is even more crowded. And that's the way it was early in the game. And fortunately, El Marco and Nick made a couple of shots, and the second half they didn't play quite that way near as much, and then Hunter was able to get some touches in the second half.
Okay, after Eastern Illinois, you talked about the need to rebound better. How good were Kevin and Hunter on the glass tonight?
Well, yeah, we rebounded the ball well. You know what? One thing about, in my opinion, Missouri, they do such a great job with help defense and guys flying around and whatever. But what it does do sometimes is create rotation rebounding. So, we thought that's something we have to take advantage of, is getting guys to run to the glass. And I'm not sure we did a great job of running to the glass, but we certainly rebounded better than we had. Yeah, that was a big factor in the game, second chance points. Okay, guys. Have a good evening.